Chapter 25. Reactor. "Do you know the way to the pyramid from here?" Quaid asked as the mole charged along. "Yes," she said, looking. She pointed. "Turn right, there." He swung right into a wide tunnel and careened down it at top speed, almost trampling miners who ran for their lives. "Watch out!" she cried. She didn't want to hurt the common folk, only Cohagen's minions. "We have to get there first," he explained tersely. "He's going to destroy the reactor." She was mortified. "No." "If Mars has air, Cohagen's finished." But that was the least of it. Quaid swerved to avoid a fallen miner. He zoomed on down the tunnel, seeing the way was now clear. "If Mars has air," she said, realizing, "we'll be free." "We'll be free," he echoed. "But there's more. The No'ui." "The what?" "I never had time to tell you, and it wasn't safe anyway, as long as Cohagen could interrogate you," he said. That is, Hauser, did more down there in that alien pit than just desert you. He..." "Desert me?" she asked, frowning. "Hauser was a spy. I remember now. He was only playing you along. He faked the fall so he could get captured by Cohagen or seemingly killed. His mission for Cohagen was through because you were too smart for him. But that wasn't the only reason." "I understand. You don't have to explain." "Yes, I do. You don't understand. Hauser was Cohagen's man. He was an emotionless machine, ready to use anyone in order to carry out Cohagen's orders. And then you came into his life. You showed him what it meant to believe in something, what it meant to be good. He grew to admire and respect you, and then... his feelings for you were so alien that he didn't know what they were. He suppressed them, he fought to control them, and it wasn't until he found himself in the pyramid mine that he realized he couldn't betray you because he loved you. So he wandered around down there, really trying to do the mission you had sent him on. And he found the aliens." Her face turned to him, amazed. They had left a message that the artifact was built by the No'ui, an intelligent galactic ant-like species, for us when we came of age, to make air for Mars and to share technology so that we could become a species like them, a galactic trader spreading civilization. "Missionaries," she breathed. "Right. And Hauser, well, he was impressed. The No'ui trusted him to do the right thing, to tell his species what the artifact was for and how to use it. Because if we use it well, we'll be traders. But if we use it the wrong way or try to destroy it..." "There's a self-destruct mechanism," she exclaimed, catching on. "Right. The thing is primed like a bomb. Do the right thing and it's okay. Great for man, in fact. And it will usher in a new age for us, greater than anything we've known in the past. But do the wrong thing and it blows. That hydrozoic acid, there must be hundreds of thousands of tons of the stuff down below the glacier. Maybe that's what does it." "I can imagine," she said. "If that's released, it could wipe out the whole human colony here." "Yes, No'ui don't pussyfoot around. I saw one of their hatchlings, just out of the egg, and he had to answer questions I couldn't answer and show that he was one of them, or they would have killed him on the spot. We either use it right or we lose it. We don't dare use it wrong. So if Cohagen tries to destroy it, it won't just be the atmosphere we lose, it'll be all our lives." She was awed. "And that converted Hauser?" "That finished the job that you started," Quaid agreed. "He couldn't stand to see you tortured, which he knew Cohagen would do next, to make you tell where Kuato was. But he also knew he couldn't let Cohagen know the full nature of the artifact. Cohagen must already have figured out it would make air, so he tried to hide it away so it wouldn't ruin his monopoly. But if he had learned how much more it meant, that he could learn the alien technology and magnify his power 1,000-fold, he'd take over Earth too, she said. He'd pretend to be a good guy, using the reactor to make air and seeking to learn more about it. But once he had the information, he wouldn't need his air monopoly. He'd be able to take over everything. Exactly. Hauser, I'm not making any apologies for him. He was an asshole, but you were a good influence on him, and the No'ui. It was really a kind of mind implant, and it converted him, and he wanted to do what was right. But Cohagen routinely mind-checked his agents to make sure no spies had infiltrated, and he would have learned about the No'ui. So Hauser volunteered for a new mission, she concluded. Right, that saved you and the artifact, but now I'm right with you, she said. Do what you have to do, Doug. We have to get there and activate that thing before he destroys it. And then we have to see that he's dead, he said, so that he can't pretend he started it and that he's a hero who should remain in charge. That man could talk the warts off a mutant toad. We may die doing it, but Kuato and the resistance fighters have given their lives, she said quietly. I can do no less. Then she leaned over and kissed him on the cheek. Does this thing have a radio? He asked. Better check on the pursuit. Immediately she turned on the radio. It was a standard unit, able to receive commercial bands as well as private transmissions. She sampled stations. They must be maintaining radio silence, she said, so others won't catch on to what's going on. Then they can't coordinate to cut us off, he said with satisfaction. It's a straight horse race. She stopped at a news station. Results of the special election will be announced as they occur, the announcer said. Meanwhile, on the science front, astronomers report another inexplicable nova has been discovered. That makes 7 so far. According to scientists, these novas shouldn't be happening because they aren't the right type of stars. Something connected in Quaid's mind. Oh my God, he breathed. Melina looked at him again. Something wrong? That news item, those novas, I just realized. He choked off, not wanting to believe it. What's the matter, Doug? She asked, alarmed. Those novas, they're artificial, he said. That's why they don't seem to make sense. They're seeded, same way as the No'ui seed species. I suppose, if the aliens are as powerful as you say, she said doubtfully. But I can't believe that. Believe it, he said. You haven't seen the sheer scale of that reactor. If they can build something like that and use alien science to make air in a way we couldn't, they can see the star to go nova. Well, maybe so, if you say so, but what has that got to do with this? I told you, they don't pussyfoot around. It's all or nothing with them, no second chance. Yes, but the destruct symbol, he said, feeling the horror rise as he spoke. It was a nova. Melina shrugged. Why not? We put a skull and crossbones to indicate poison. We don't mean it literally. It's figurative. They don't know figurative. They're a literal species. Maybe because of the way they come genetically pre-programmed, like ants. To them, something either is or it isn't, or it is ignored. It can't be part way unless it's something under construction. So when they use a nova symbol... Now the horror came to her face too. You mean... I mean that when they say nova, they mean nova. If we abuse the reactor, our sun will go nova, she said. It must be keyed in. The moment the reactor starts to go wrong, it sends the destruct signal to the sun. The sun flares up and takes everything out, maybe through the orbit of Jupiter. Just a little flare on the galactic scale, but our species will be gone. Just as those other species went thousands of years ago when they didn't pass the test, and now we're seeing their novas. There are 3 requirements, one being that we achieve limited space travel on our own, another that we're able to recognize the nature of the artifact, and the third is undefined. But we now know that it means to do it right or else. No second chance, she agreed, staring straight ahead. We're shooting for all the marbles. He felt his face frozen. He remembered the dream he had had of mankind ending. No dream, but an alien warning. All the marbles, she echoed hollowly. God, Doug. Yeah. He arrowed on down the passage, feeling numb. The mole passed an intersecting tunnel. A second mole pulled out of the tunnel and took off in pursuit. Melina looked back. "That's Benny!" she exclaimed. "Watch out! He knows how to drive!" Indeed he did. The moles were supposed to be uniform in speed, but the one behind was gaining. Its drill started spinning. "Look out!" Melina cried. But there wasn't much Quaid could do. He watched in the rearview mirror as Benny's mole caught up and bored into the back of his own mole. The giant screw was made to handle rock. How would it react to metal? There was a horrendous screech of metal chewing metal. Shrapnel flew through the cabin. The whole vehicle vibrated violently. Ask a silly question. Quaid had already been traveling at top velocity, but somehow he managed to coax more from the engine and pull ahead. It was no good. Benny caught up and drilled again. The spinning drill bit appeared in the cabin, chewing hungrily. They leaned forward to avoid it, but had too little room. The sound was deafening. The thing could grind them into sausage. Then it stopped, inches from their backs. Melina stared at it. "I guess that's its limit," she said. "It's meant for rock, and rock will crack open and fragment away. It's stuck in the metal." "Stuck, eh?" Quaid smiled grimly. "Then maybe we have him by the balls." "Balls?" she inquired, glancing sidelong at him. "Whatever. Let's see how this pecker likes our action." Quaid swerved left, then right, making his mole rock back and forth in the passage. Benny's mole, held captive by its proboscis, was whipped into the stone walls. He hastily braked and disengaged from Quaid's mole. It wasn't enough. He ended up with 2 wheels propped against a wall. "I'll keep that ploy in mind if I ever don't like your action," Melina murmured. Quaid kept a straight face. Behind, he saw Benny's mole maneuvering clumsily, its gears grinding. Then it flopped back on the level and resumed its forward motion. They entered a dark chamber. Quaid turned his headlight to the side and saw that there was room here to make a loop. He shut off the light and began to turn in darkness. "What are you doing?" Melina asked, alarmed. "Maybe I can get him in the ass this time," Quaid said. "See how he likes his own medicine." He completed most of his loop and slowed, lights out. He saw Benny's headlights, then the nose of the mole coming slowly in. The lights cast about, scanning the chamber. Quaid gunned his engine and turned on his lights. They illuminated the side of Benny's mole, glaringly bright. With his drill extended straight forward, churning ferociously, Quaid headed directly for Benny's cabin. "Screw you," he said succinctly. He saw Benny's eyes and mouth open wide in the glare of the lights as the man saw the drill coming straight at him. He tried to gun his own mole out of the way, but was too late. Quaid's mole bored through the cabin, having no trouble at all with glass and plastic, and chewed it up as if it were being fed into a giant food processor. Benny was shredded into chopped meat in a manner literal enough for even the No'ui. Benny's mole had been near the far cavern wall. Quaid's mole couldn't stop. It drilled right on into the wall. Sand and gravel poured in through holes. The whole machine rattled. There was nothing to do but keep going. The stone wall started to crumble. Quaid ground forward, hoping he wouldn't get stuck. But he was in luck. The other side of the wall was hollow space. "Dog!" Melina screamed, staring ahead. Now he realized that the luck he was in was bad. There was nothing ahead. They were drilling into the abyss of the alien reactor. He slammed on the brakes. The mole tilted through the aperture, starting its fall. But the torn rear of the mole lodged against the top of the tunnel, making it pause a moment. "Jump!" Quaid shouted, tearing away his seatbelt. The two of them barely had time to jump out of the doors and grab onto the scaffolding before the huge machine dislodged itself and fell into the depths. But why weren't they suffocating? The abyss of his dream memory had been a near vacuum. They had used spacesuits to enter it. How could he forget the frustration of trying to kiss Melina through the helmet? But there was air here. This was pressurized. Then he remembered a bit more of his Hauser knowledge. The main part of the reactor was pressurized because Cohagen had been trying to find out more about it. Cohagen had been cautious, which was just as well. If he had done anything ignorant to it, the Nova would have been set off. The pressurization hadn't affected it. The reactor was constructed to handle atmospheric pressure because it was part of the process that made the atmosphere. Hauser and Melina had entered the unpressurized, unexplored section that Cohagen thought didn't matter, and had discovered that it mattered very much. It wasn't just one unit, it was an interlocking complex of units, with the nuclear reactor just the tip of the iceberg in an almost literal manner. They hung from the scaffolding on opposite sides of the hole, then got their footing and scanned the vast reaches of the abyss. "You're right," Melina whispered, awed. "I never saw this. It's 10 times as big as I ever imagined and 100 times as complex," he said, awed himself, though he had explored much of it in his prior visit and in his buried memory of that visit, and had experienced the No'ui explanation of it. "This is our future, man's future, if we can get it started before Cohagen destroys it." They continued gazing at it. An enormous metal truss stretched from the wall into space, reminiscent of the ancient Eiffel Tower laid on its side. 4 such arches supported an immense round platform in the middle of the abyss. The platform was a metal pegboard which braced a bundle of huge columns running through peg holes. The columns reached from the top of the abyss down towards its bottom, lost in darkness. Other arches and platforms braced the columns at various other levels, above and below. Quaid climbed down and dropped onto the truss. "Come on!" he called to Melina, gesturing. She climbed down next to him and contemplated the long, treacherous bridge they had to cross, which stretched into inky darkness. This might have endured for millennia, but it seemed insecure now. Suddenly, a frightening crash thundered through the abyss, making them both jump. "The mole," Quaid said, catching on. It had reached the bottom. It had seemed like several minutes since they escaped it, but it had probably been several seconds. The splendor of the reactor had made their perception of time distort, he thought. "They'll be here soon," Melina reminded him. "You have to do it first." "Let's go," he agreed. "How's your nerve for skywalking?" "Not great," she admitted. "But considering what's at stake, I'll manage." "Good girl." But she was no girl. She was a woman. They started across the truss at as fast a clip as they dared, not looking down.